Yeah, welcome along to another edition of the West Cork League podcast with me, your host, Ger McCarthy. And it's a very special podcast this week. It's the first of a two-part edition focusing on the Beamish Cup draw, the Under-19 Cup draw and the Women's Sevens Cup draw, which took place at the Parkway Hotel last week. We'll be hearing from a lot of the clubs that were there. Huge attendance, great to see. Getting their reaction to all the draws and taking a look back at last weekend's results and a look ahead to the fixtures as well. But we start with last Tuesday night at the Parkway Hotel in Dunmanway, where John Caulfield was the guest of honour at the West Cork League's Under-19 Women's Sevens and Beamish Cup draws. The former Cork City FC manager was greeted by a large attendance and drew out the names of the clubs that will face one another in each of the upcoming knockout competitions. West Cork League chairman Tim O'Donovan made a presentation to Caulfield on behalf of the committee, the clubs and the players who continue to hold the former Cork City striker and manager in such high esteem. And on the night there were some intriguing matchups drawn out for the hat for both the 19s and the Women's Cup draws. I suppose the pick of those ones would see the league leaders Bunratty United travelling to second place Dunmanway in the Under-19 competition, while the Drina FC and defending champions Inter Kinmare clash in the Women's Sevens Cup. Should be a cracking game as well. But all eyes were on the Beamish Cup draw involving the high-spec cars, Premier HighSpecCars.com, Premier Division and the O'Brien Water Services Championship clubs. And here are the draws in full. The West Cork Under-19 Cup quarter-finals, Drina Rangers versus Riverside Athletic, Dunmanway Town versus Bunratty United, Toher Celtic versus Bantry Bay Rovers and Artfield versus Castleac. In the West Cork League Women's Sevens Cup in association with the Cork Sports Partnership, the quarter-final draw there, Beara FC versus Ulta Celtic, Bantry Bay Rovers versus Drina AFC, Drina FC versus Inter Kinmare, and Dunmanway Town taking on Beara AFC. And on to the West Cork League Beamish Cup, 4 first-round ties, Castletown Celtic versus Castleac, Dunmanway Town versus Bunratty United, Clonakilty Town versus Baltimore FC, and Drina Rangers versus Skibbereen, Drina runners-up last year. And on to the draw for the last 16. Dunmanway Town B will be taking on Mizzen AFC, Drina Rangers B versus Toher Celtic, the defending champions, Spartak Moscow will meet the winners of Drina and Skibbereen's first round tie, Salan versus Riverside Athletic, Doris versus Ulta Celtic, Lyre Rovers versus Castletown or Castleac, Kilbrittain Rovers will meet the winners of Dunmanway Town and Bunratty's first round game, and the winners of Clonakilty Town and Baltimore will be at home to Ballyhob in the last 16. So a lot to take in there, and there was a huge attendance, as I said, on the night, and fair play to the West Cork League Committee for organising it so well. You're going to hear now a host of quick interviews that I did just after the draw, and the first people you'll be listening to are the defending champions Toher Celtic's Johnny Hurley and Niall Hurley. They'll be talking about their tie, quickly followed by Ballyhob's Kevin O'Brien and Sean Minahan. Also spoke to Spartak Moscow's Daniel Toomey, Drina Rangers' Don Hurley, Dunmanway Town's Stephen Keohan, Doris's Tig O'Sullivan and Mike Burke, and finally you'll hear from Castletown Celtic's Gavin O'Leary. Okay, Johnny, defending Beamish Cup champions. That is a nice ring to it, first of all. Before we start talking about what's coming, let's just quickly go back to that day and that 1-0 victory over Drina. A fantastic day in the history of Toher Celtic and something you'll always treasure.
Oh, definitely, Joe, yeah. It was a savage day, in fairness. Yeah, it was only 6 months ago. Yeah, it was only like yesterday, really.
Are you still celebrating it?
No, we're not that bad at all. Yeah, it was nice, we're still with the holders on and everything.
And with that comes a bit of a target, because you've got a tricky draw now in the Cup.
Yeah, we have away, like, you always like to have your game at home, like, away to Drina B. They have a chance of revenge now, and I've probably done to the A team last year, but Drina B are quit themselves very well in their own division, and as we know in Cup games, no matter what division you are in, you could be taken out, so we'll be wary enough of Drina being on the day, and there's no doubt about that.
Niall, from your point of view, obviously it's fantastic to see Toher with a trophy, obviously, last year, but is the hunger there again to go and do it a second time?
100%, yeah. Defending a cup is probably it's a way different task altogether. But as you said earlier to Johnny there, you have a target on your back now. Everybody wants to go off us. So going to defend it is. You saw Drina last year; they were trying to defend it. They were probably still within as maybe slight favourites against us, but you never know on the day. Like, cup is cup all the time.
I would say that Toher, well, consistency might not be there in the league as much as you would have liked this year, but it's a tough league. The Cup, you always see Toher coming up with the strongest team, and you're always dangerous home or away.
Yeah, this year, so with the league, yeah, we've few injuries now, especially in defence. We're kind of a bit of a makeshift all year. Last year, I think that stood the whole year last year we were very consistent. It was the same 12, 13, 14 players all the time. This year a few injuries. The league, yeah, I suppose we're kind of mid-table at the moment, but yeah, definitely 100% the focus is the cup now. Like we're facing Drina B, they're a championship team. Championship teams this year, they have 10, 11 games played. We're at 7, 5 games played. I was very wary of getting the championship team this tonight. So they're playing constantly. We're a bit hit and miss, So even getting a bye in the first round, I would like to have got a first round game because you get a bit of momentum going again.
Just finally, Johnny, from your own point of view, I presume we'll see you at some stage of that cup tie, maybe coming. I don't know whether you're playing consistently at the moment, but the Beamish Cup always brings the best out in teams.
Oh, it does, yeah. I don't know what I was in, I suppose we were so many years, chase it, and 22 of them, yeah, to be exact, yeah. Chase it, so this year, we're not going to let this thing go so easy at all, and like we said, there's a target on our back, but whoever's going to beat us will have to be at their best on the day.
Okay, Sean, Ballyhob up in the top echelons of the league, probably the closest team to Drina right now. Bit of inconsistent run at the start of the season, but you seem to be finding your groove now.
Yeah, at the start we're struggling with Gabriel's and Allen Rovers are playing at the same time. Usually it's either one or the other, so it was hard to kind of get grips of that in the end, but then there was the wedding and everything, but we're kind of getting the grips to it now. And
sorry, which wedding?
Aidan Coughlin's wedding, so
we blame him for all this.
Yeah, 3 points gone because of him. But we're getting the grips to it now, and with a few good cup games coming up, we might get a good run the league if we beat Drina now in the next game, or in the next game against Drina.
Kevin, from your point of view, a cup run might be just a thing for Ballyhob heading into the second half of the season, but it won't be easy.
No, definitely not. We couldn't have nearly asked for a worse draw because Clontown, Baltimore away, they're two very tough draws, and as well, yeah, we had a bit of a slip in the league, but we're just going to try and dive into everything we can and, just give it a right rattle this season. That's what we're capable of.
Over the last 2 years, though, the second half of the season has probably been when you've hit your stride, so you'd be hoping that even, I know you're travelling away from home, but I've seen you in Lyre this year and you played superbly against a very good Lyre team, so going away from home shouldn't be that much of a daunting prospect.
Yeah, for sure. When you look at our midfield and attack, it's up there with the best in the league, and even across a good few sports as well. We have those players that have a lot of flair and a good attitude, and there's a mixture between the experience and the youth, and I think that's been essential for us the last year and a half, 2 years now. If we are to do special things this season, it'll be through that kind of talent we have.
Just finally, Sean, a cup run would be most welcome for a club like yourselves. You've got a good mix, a lot of young talent as well, and no, it won't be easy by any means, but maybe sometimes you find when you're away from the league that you can relax a bit more and just have a real cut off the cup.
We can kind of rotate the squad a bit and have a look at the younger lads as well. There's some savage young fellas there like Dermot Hagerty and Peter Driscoll when he turns up, but a good cup run would be nice. Beamish Cup, any cup really, to be honest, but that league is kind of what we're looking at, and Beamish Cup would be nice to win too. So,
thanks very much. Dan, from Spartak Moscow's point of view, let's just talk about the league first, because you're finished top, if not joint top, which is where you would have wanted to have finished at the start of the season. Looking ahead, there's the old cliche of the 6 teams that are up there. There's no easy game left, but you should have enough quality that you'll be competitive right up to the end of the season.
Yeah, look, the 5 games are going to be competitive, all right, but with the squad that we have, I think that we should be going up. We're going to be pushing to win it out, obviously, but we should be definitely going up.
The Beamish Cup offers a chance as well for Spartak Moscow to cause a bit of damage, as I've been saying to some of the other people here at the draw tonight. However, the draw, what was your reaction when you saw that you're at home, which is one thing, but it's the winners of Drina and Skip?
Yeah, look, I suppose we kind of wanted to get a big team, I suppose, to see where we're at. But I think we're after drawing Drina the last 4 years. Obviously, they have to play Skip first or whatever. But looking like it's going to be Drina again. But obviously, we look forward to it and hopefully we might get a scalp.
Priority is the league, I would imagine, even though a cup run would be preferable and you'd like to do well in the cup. It's the one you'd like to win. But I would imagine, as I just said, that getting back into that Premier Division is the key thing for you this year.
Yeah, getting back up into Premier Division is obviously the main objective, really. But again, we have enough players to give a good cup run as well.
Thank you very much. Bye. Don, the Beamish Cup draw, you must be delighted first of all. Great night for the West Cork League and for the committee to see such a huge crowd here and have John Caulfield as well.
It was brilliant, actually. It was great. We had nearly every club here, and we had lots of media, and of course John. John is synonymous with soccer in West Cork or soccer in Cork, and he knows a lot more about the West Cork League than we think. He's been following it for a lot of years. He's been involved with and the committee of Riverside, and he's been in a lot of finals, as he mentioned there tonight. So it was great to get him here, and it was great to be able to make a presentation to him on behalf of the people involved in soccer in the West Cork League. And it's been going with a while. We've been trying to organise it with a while, so it's great. And it's brilliant that we have him. And it was great to have him on the night of a draw and such a big crowd around. And we've had two events this year, with the launch of the league in September and the launch of the cups tonight, and the popularity of it and the attendance and everything like that. I think the podcasts you're doing, Ger, and Michael, and things like that, and the coverage on Facebook and Twitter, and again of the media, Southern Star and the Evening Echo and everything is really helping, and it's really pushing on the league, so it's great.
Let's talk. Put your managerial hat, your co-managerial hat on for a second. Home draw is always important. You know that as well as I do when it comes to the Beamish Cup. First of all, you must be delighted to be at home, but you are playing a side coming out of a competitive championship who have bucked the trend and finished in the top 6.
Yeah, home draw is good. You take any home draw. Skib. Look, we've played Skib so many times over the years. We battled with Skib for league titles. We certainly won't underestimate them. We know they have good players. It's a tricky one for us because I suppose we haven't played them. We played them in a Parkway Cup final about 2 years ago, and we won 1-0. I think it was 1-0 in Dunmanway, and we were very lucky on the day, so we won't take them for granted. It's a tough draw, and it's a game that you just go out and try to win. Near neighbours again, so we look forward to it.
Your league form has picked up. I know you haven't played in a couple of weeks. It's been kind of stop-start, which is a bit frustrating, but you are where you'd want to be at this time of year.
Oh God, yeah. It's a bit frustrating. We have only played, I suppose, 2 league games in 6 weeks or whatever. But we're very happy with where we are. We've, I suppose, we top of the table at this stage of the year. That's not that common for us. So normally we're coming from behind, but it's great. But there's nothing won and nothing done, and it's we've only got 7. We've only half our league games played, and we have a lot of work to do to go. We're not playing in the league now again this weekend. We're away to Cove Wanderers in the Munster Junior Cup, and we kind of look forward to that, because if we could win there, we'd go out into the last 32 of the Munster round, and that's kind of a target for us as well. We'd like to do that, so we'll go this weekend, and then I think we've done Dunmanway in the league next weekend.
Stephen,
so that'll be a big one.
How happy are you where Dunmanway are currently? I mean, obviously you've only played a handful of Premier Division games this season for various reasons. There was a disappointing cup, but you've had a lot of cup games to contend with. You'd be looking to get on a run now to get back up that table.
Yeah, definitely. We try and get as many games played now and get points on the board, because you don't want to be letting the likes of Drina and them get Steel and Marsh, and I think we kind of benefited from it last year, having such a good start. But we try and get rocking and rolling now on the league, and just try and get as many games played now as quick as possible and get the points back on the board. Yeah,
because they're going to be coming thick and fast, basically, because you are so far behind. But I mean, the cup games that you've played, will they benefit you?
Oh, I think definitely. Obviously the scoreline last Sunday, it didn't look the greatest, but I would definitely say we'll benefit from playing, no disrespect to the West Cork League, but playing a higher standard up there, because we were taught a lesson last Sunday how to play soccer. They were very good, they were very strong, they were well drilled, and I can, as we said, coming back after it, it wasn't the nicest feeling to come off after getting a bit of a hocking, but we'll definitely benefit, and especially with a couple of young lads that have been playing with us now the last 2 seasons. It's a bit of a wake up call that it ain't all rosy.
That could be even more beneficial in the long run. Let's turn to the Beamish Cup and the draw tonight. A home tie, which is important, but a Bunratty team that you know as well as I do, despite their record, away, home or away, always difficult opponents.
Yeah, Bunratty, straight away when I see him come out, I was thinking, we went down there last year, would had to win a game down there, and they made it very tough for us. They scored first, they made us work hard, but look, we came out that day, but that means absolutely nothing. Beamish Cup upsets, they all happen, but hopefully we'll put up on a good show, and hopefully we can go and maybe kick on and get a run in the Beamish Cup.
We spoke at the start of the season, and you said staying up was the key thing for Doris. It is a hugely competitive Premier Division this year. There's no easy games, as the old cliche goes, but how happy are you where you currently are heading into Christmas?
I suppose position-wise, we've played more games than some teams around us, but I'm happy enough. As I said to you at the start of the season and in the last season, if I finish one place above relegation zone, for our first season up would be a huge achievement. We've won games we mightn't have won. We've also lost games that we should have got something out of. But I think overall, look, we still have 5 league games to go. We're confident that we'll get enough points out of it to be secure enough in mid-table, hopefully, and hopefully get a bit of a cup run in one of the cups and take it from there afterwards.
Yeah, because you did very well in the cups last year. You were always a difficult team to play, and you obviously won a bit of silverware, which was hugely important for the future of the club, as you said at the time. But how more important is stability this year?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. At the start of the season, we can't afford to go back down. The clubs like our small clubs, the joy of going up and the celebration is all well and good, but you go back down and you could potentially set yourself back 2 seasons. So that's the most important thing, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah.
Mike, Beamish Cup, home draw is always important, and you got that, but you're playing a team like Ulta who, despite their struggles in the championship, will be looking for a scalp.
Yeah, and they took our scalp there in the Parkway at the start of the season, so I'd say they'd be looking for a repeat of that, but we'll be trying to stop them this time.
How important is it, just from the players' point of view, to go on a good cup run in the Beamish Cup?
Yeah, it's important, alright, because like that, obviously our main focus is staying up, but it'd be good, to have something to strive for, really. So if we can get on a bit of a run, it'd be happy days.
How have you found the step up to Premier Division this year?
Yeah, it's been tough, but we did play a good few Premier teams last year, so we were kind of used to it. But week in, week out, there's no soft games like.
If I offered you a Beamish Cup final appearance or top 2 finish in the Premier Division, what would you take?
A Beamish Cup final appearance this season.
Why?
It's that competition, isn't it? It's prestigious. We've never got past the quarter final. It's nights like tonight, like Johnny from Toho there. I mean, they're things that they'll take for forever. Top 2 finish, offer me the title, maybe a different story. But top 2 finish, is different. I mean, to get to and win a Beamish Cup would be something that in 20 years' time, people at the club will still be talking about, and people at West Cork will still be talking about. So I think this season anyway, particularly, I think, to the competition, I'd love to get a little bit of progress in. And
best of luck to you.
Cheers.
Gavin, from Castletown Celtic's point of view, the Beamish Cup is an opportunity to, get your strongest team out. You've got a home draw against Castleac. Now, you won't be looking beyond that, but if you were to overcome that, you'd be travelling to a Premier League club or Premier Division club in the second round. I assume Castletown will be well up for this.
Yeah, we'll certainly be well up for the first round. Castleac won't be an easy game. Anytime we've had them, there's only a goal or two in it. We only played them there 3 or 4 weeks ago. We scraped a 3-2 win, so we'll concentrate on that first, and we'll see what happens.
It was a disappointing start to the season for you, because you just kind of lacked a bit of consistency. You were losing games by the odd goal, and it could have made a huge amount of difference there, because there was nothing between the middle teams in that division.
Yeah, I suppose we couldn't have a habit of getting a slow start to the season, so I suppose we had a few injuries at the start of the season, which didn't help, but I think we had only 1 point after 6 games, and we finished up with, I think, 11, so it's getting better. And I know we're in the second part of the championship now, but if we get a bit of a cup run,
you definitely have enough quality within that team to do damage in the Beamish Cup.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I think over the last few years we've beaten a lot of Premier League teams, and we did a very good game with Drina last year, and they just beat us after extra time. So we will be hoping for a good run now in the Beamish Cup this year anyway.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Yeah, so quite a lot of interviews there, and thanks to everybody for giving me the time to speak to them at the Cup Draw last night. There'll be even more next week in part 2 of this podcast on the Beamish Cup Draw, the Women's Cup Draw and the Under-19s. But before we leave last Tuesday night's event at the Parkway Hotel, it was great to see all of the Women's Sevens football clubs represented on the night to look ahead to the draw, and I had an opportunity to speak to Beara's Claire Power, Ulta's Kathy Kennefick and Davina O'Connell, and Bantry Bear Rovers' Elva Barron and Helen Martin, and I asked them about the upcoming cup draw and how the season was going. Okay, Claire Power, Beara are back playing in the Women's Sevens League this season. First of all, how is it going so far this season for you and the club, and how important is it to keep soccer going in the club down there?
I suppose soccer is vital in the club. We have a GA team as well, but soccer is really taken over. A lot of our girls are playing GA as well, but there's definitely a bigger drive for the soccer. when the league announced that they were going doing a 7-a-side league, initially we weren't for it because we've big numbers. But I have to say, for player development, it's been brilliant.
And is that down to the fact that everybody's getting a game? So you're turning up on the Sunday and you're not just sitting on the sideline for 10, 15 minutes, you're actually playing the whole game?
Yeah, everyone's getting good game time. And there would have been girls that wouldn't have gotten a game at all. We'd plenty, 20 plus registered, like, so.
And two teams because of that now,
Yeah.
From Beara's point of view, the hope I would imagine with the league is that 7-a-side at the moment, but if enough teams and more people come on board, you'll eventually play an 11-a-side league, and you'd love to see that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like, even the likes of Drina, there is a good example. They struggled to field 11-a-side the last couple of years. They have 2 teams now this year, so it's great. And Bear Rovers are back in it, and Alta are new, and so we're watching the Alta numbers, see if they'll bring them up for us. Yeah.
Kerry Kennefic, Ulta Celtic have not had the best of starts, but because you're playing in a 7-a-side league, the most important thing this year is to keep it going, get people out playing, and then build for the future.
That's it. Like this year, it's the first time 90% of the team have ever even kicked a ball. So it is just to get out onto the pitch and start enjoying the game, because soccer is a fantastic sport, and to get the women and ladies involved is unbelievable. The league is absolutely fantastic. 8 teams, it's great. Like, and just to get out every Sunday and just play, it's been brilliant.
How important is it as well that Claire said everyone's getting a game, so you're not just turning up to make up the numbers, you're actually going to be asked to play?
Oh, it's brilliant. Like, there's nobody left out. Like, the rolling subs are a fantastic idea, like, and gives everyone a break and everyone a chance to have a good game. So yeah, definitely.
Davina, from your point of view, playing for Ulta Celtic, is this your first year playing soccer?
Yeah, this is my first time I've ever played soccer, and I really enjoy it.
Why? Is there a bit of camaraderie and a good gang of women involved in the team? And I know results haven't gone your way so far, but just being part of a team and playing every Sunday, is that really the big thing with it?
I just love being part of a team, and it just being with a fantastic group of girls just makes it a whole lot better, aside from just playing soccer, and I'm just really happy who I play with.
Do you think more girls in the area and more women will get involved as time goes on?
Definitely, because we are a really big group of girls who love playing, and we'd love for more girls to play with us.
Very good. Helen, Bantry Bear Rovers, it's fantastic to see them back in the actual in the 7-a-side league this year. Great interest in that club, and you're fielding teams that lots of different numbers, but it's always been the male side of things. How important is it to keep the female side of the game going?
Yeah, of course, it's really important to keep girls involved in soccer and stuff. It's great for fitness, and there's really good camaraderie between teams as well, for women as well, and you don't have to be a brilliant soccer player to come and play as well,
Yeah, there's a bit of a fear factor for people like Davina who haven't played before. It's a big ask to actually just to start playing, but I think once you get over that first game, maybe those first couple of training sessions, it's not too bad.
Yeah, no, that's it exactly. There's a lot of, everybody is learning all the time with soccer, with women's soccer as well, do you know what I mean? Like, nobody's a professional soccer player, they haven't been doing it since they were small, so it's a learning curve for everyone all the time, so it makes it really easy to join the team then.
And Elva, from your point of view, how happy are you to be involved with Bear Rovers this year?
Yeah, I'm very happy to be back in it again. I would have been someone that never played soccer either, so when they set up a team 3 or 4 years ago, I think I just went out for the crack. I was dragged out, and my friend that dragged me got injured that night and never went back, and I'm still there, so it's just been good fun, and like Helen said, we're always learning, and just the crack is the main part.
Yeah, I mean, there's a social side of it, and there's the crack, but it's also taken a bit seriously. Some of the game, and I have noticed some of the games getting closer and closer as teams get better as time goes on.
Yeah, look, just every game, we're learning a bit more about each other, and where positions that people are better in and stuff like that. So yeah, we're definitely learning every game, and hopefully a few more wins now, we might be a bit happier.
Very good. Yeah, the Women's Sevens Cup should be quite interesting when those quarterfinals come around, and great to see such enthusiasm, and great to hear from the players involved there, and there'll be even more interviews from other clubs that are playing in next week's podcast, so tune in for that. Right, that wraps up the first part of our Beamish Cup roundup. It's time now to take a quick check on last weekend's results in the West Cork League. On Saturday, the Under-19s West Cork League, the joint leaders Bunratty United joined Dunmanway Town at the top of the table thanks to a 4-1 win in Schull, where James O'Regan scored twice, Darragh O'Shea got his name on the score sheet, and an own goal were Bunratty's goals, and Cathal Duggan replied for Dunmanway. On to Sunday and the Lakehouse Beauty Rooms Sevens Women's Adult League. Beara FC Women's 1, Dunmanway Town 1. Debbie Power scored for Beara, and Michelle Murphy replied for Dunmanway Town. Drina Rangers Women's 2-1. winners over Bantry Bay Rovers. Emily Barrett scored for Bantry Bay, but Caroline Buttimer and Sarah Collins strikes earned Drina Rangers women's all 3 points there. Beara AFC women's 6, Ulta Celtic 0, and the scores for Beara and a big win for them. Orla Sullivan got 2, Katie Kelly, Marie Toomey, Debbie Power, Becky O'Sullivan on target there. And what those results mean in the Lakehouse Beauty Room Sevens League is that Drina Rangers AFC stay top of the table on maximum points with 12. They're joined by their fellow clubmates Drina Women's on 12 points, but they've played a game more. Then come Inter Kinmare and Beara AFC on 10 points each, followed by Beara, Bantry Bay Rovers, the Manway Town and Ulta Celtic. In the Under-19 League, last weekend's result, as I said, elevated Bunratty United into joint top lead of the division alongside the Manway Town on 10 points apiece, but they're closely followed by Drina and Tor on 7, and then Artfield, Riverside and Bay Rovers all on 6 points. Castleac still to pick up a point there, but a very, very tight league and a very, very entertaining one certainly this year. Right, onto the O'Brien Water Services Championship, and an important day in that division because Ulta Celtic picked up a point at home to Baltimore. They drew 2-2. Tim Crowley and Dennis DeLay got on the score sheet for Ulta, and Brian Leonard scored twice in reply for the Crabs. But probably the most significant result of the day took place in Laura, where Castleac defeated Kilbrittain Rovers 2-1. A brace from player-manager Chris O'Donoghue and Lance O'Donovan replying for Kilbrittain. But what that means is that the top 6 in the O'Brien Water Services Championships was decided following that result. Spartak, Mizzen, Salan, Baltimore and Riverside were already in, but they have been joined by Skibbereen because Kilbrittain failed to pick up a point that would have drawn them level with Skib. So the top 6 that will split now and play off for the championship and promotion to the Premier Division. Spartak, Mizzen, Salan, Baltimore, Riverside and Skib, so well done to Skib there. The Division 2 championship will be decided amongst the teams that finished in the bottom 6, and that's going to be a very interesting competition because Kilbrittain, Drina Rangers B, Castletown Celtic, Dunmanway Town B, Castleac and Ulta have all improved during the second half there of that season, so a lot to play for there as well. We move on into the Premier High Spec Cars Premier Division, and last Sunday's match between Bunratty United and Loyer Rovers unfortunately had to be postponed due to an unplayable pitch, but there was action in the Keane Jewellers Championship, Munster Championship quarter-final where Dunmanway Town travelled to Rathkeale, and as you heard earlier on from Stephen Cohan, were defeated 6-0 by a very, very good Rathkeale team and bowed out of the competition. But fair play to Dunmanway, they put in a heroic effort and have played very well in that competition this year. Also last weekend, the Championship Cup, the preliminary round, there was one game played. Salan travelled to Cannon Crawley Park and defeated Drina Rangers B 6-1, whilst the other tie that was down for decision there between Dunmanway Town B and Spartak Musgrove had to be postponed because of an unplayable pitch. Now let's look ahead to this weekend and lots of action across all the divisions and cups in another blockbuster weekend. It starts on Friday night, the 6th of December at 7:45 in the O'Brien Water Services Championship. The last game before the split, that's between Mizzen AFC and Castleac. Mizzen are already guaranteed a top 6 finish, but if they win, they'll finish joint top with Spartak, and remember they carry their points, so an important game for them. But Castleac have been improving and should give a good account of themselves there. On to Saturday, and in the Under-19 West Cork League, 4 games down for decision, currently all scheduled for 2 o'clock, but remember, any changes to fixtures or venues, always go to the westcorkleague.com for the latest information. But in the Under-19 League, Bantry Bay Rovers will host Toher Celtic at Cailkill. Joint leaders Bunratty United welcome third place Drina Rangers to Skull. That should be a cracking game. Castleac entertain Riverside Athletic, and joint leaders Dunmanway Town have home advantage for the visit of Artfield. So a lot of good games there, but that Bunratty Drina game should be a cracker, as should Dunmanway and Artfield. But all 4 games and this year's league, as we've spoken about on the podcast in previous editions, that league is getting better and better with each passing week. So on a Saturday, if you're around, make sure you try and take in one of those games. On to Sunday, the 8th of December, and the Lakehouse Beauty Room Sevens West Cork Women's League. Ulta Celtic take on Dunmanway Town at 2 o'clock. Inter Kinmare face Bantry Bay Rovers at 2 o'clock also. And Beara AFC and Beara FC meet at 3:15. So 3 very intriguing games there. No Drina teams involved this week, or just on this Sunday coming. But an opportunity for Inter Kinmare to go top of the table if they can overcome Bantry Bay Rovers. That won't be easy, but an opportunity for them. And improving Ulta should give Dunmanway a very good game there as well. And the 2 Beara teams, that'll be an interesting matchup between the clubmates, the 2 teams taking on each other there in a mid-table clash. Also on Sunday, in the Premier High Spec Cars.com Premier Division, 2 very, very important games. At 11 o'clock in Rathravan, Ballyhob FC and Lyre Rovers. Now that's a very important game for both teams. It's postponed from last weekend due to an unplayable pitch. But this is an opportunity for Ballyhob, should they win, to close the gap on leaders Drina Rangers. They're currently 5 points behind them, but by next Sunday they'll have 2 games more played, so a critical game for them. Same for Lyre, because they've only played 6 games thus far, and a win for them would see them leapfrog Tober Celtic and join Doris in joint 4th place. Cracking game in prospect there. Their game earlier this season, which I covered for the Southern Star, was an absolute belter in Lyre, so I expect plenty of goals there. But it's pretty obvious what the standout fixture of the weekend is. And it is the Beamish Cup champions Toher Celtic taking on the local rivals Dunmanway Town at 2:30 in the Racefield. Now, Dunmanway obviously bowed out of the Cup and Munster Championship Cup, the Keane Jewellers Cup Championship last weekend. They want to get back to playing their league games. They've only played 3 times, but they've got a really tough ask away to their great rivals Toher. Dunmanway need to win. They're on 4 points after 3 games, but a win for Toher would give them 12 points and push them up into the top 4 positions. So nothing much ever between these two when they meet. And everyone's expecting a cracking game, so if you have a chance there, get along to the Racefield, 2:30 on Sunday. A lot of cup action on as well this weekend. In the Munster Junior Cup, in the 3rd round of that competition, Drina Rangers travel to Cove Wanderers. We heard Don Hurley speaking about that earlier. And Clonakilty Town are away to St Mary's, also at 2 o'clock. And we wish those 2 teams, West Cork League teams, all the best in that competition. They've played very well so far in it. No reason they can't continue that on. As well as that, on Sunday in the Parkway Maybury Cup, the quarterfinals, Kilbrittain Rovers from the O'Brien's Water Services Championship will have home advantage for the visit of Bunrat United, a team struggling at the bottom of the Premier High Spec Cars Premier Division. That's at noon. In the Championship Cup, 2 other quarterfinals, Riverside Athletic hosts Salan, who had a big win over Drina Rangers being in that competition last weekend, and a local derby at 11 o'clock at the Baltimore Road between Skibbereen AFC and Baltimore FC, the Crabs, 2 teams that will be facing one another in the second half of the season, in the top half of the O'Brien Water Services Championship, and trying to get back up into that Premier Division. That should be an interesting cup tie. And finally, another preliminary round game that was postponed from last weekend, Spartak Musgrove, who have already secured joint top spot at least in the O'Brien Water Services Championship for the second half of the season. They welcome Dunmanway Town B to Bandon, and that's got a 2 o'clock kickoff. So that's about it for this week. Jam-packed, lots of action and lots of reaction from the Beamish Cup draw last Tuesday night. Thanks to everybody who took the time to speak to me. Next week we'll have even more interviews, a lot of other people and the other clubs that we didn't get a chance to get around to this week. Plus, we'll have a complete roundup of all the games we've just talked about there. And remember, if you want to follow the West Cork League, go to the westcorkleague.com website. You can find the West Cork League on Facebook and also on Twitter. In print, you'll find it in the Echo and every Thursday Southern Star as well. If not a match report, then a roundup or an article. Thanks, everyone, again for all the positive feedback on the podcast. Numbers are increasing week on week. Delighted you're all enjoying it, no matter what part of the world you're listening in. And we'll talk to you again next week.